so much, everyone, for staying with us. President Bola Tinubu was in Lafia yesterday in Nasarawa State, where a commission project done by the Abdullahi Sule administration, Governor Abdullahi Sule, named the newly completed Lafia flyover and the underpass after President Bola Tinubu. The governor says the project was inspired by President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, adding that the project was completed due to prudent resource management. Well, earlier, while inaugurating the project, President Tinubu appreciated Governor Sule for focusing on initiatives that directly improve the lives of the people. Well, let's speak with Governor Abdullahi Sule, who is live for us in our Abuja studio here. Thanks so much, and congratulations on that event yesterday.
Thank you very much, Sean.
I'm not sure that I've seen the president speak so glowingly and so of any governor. He speaks about some of his ministers who are doing well. But as a governor of a state, I thought the president was rather very impressed. What did you tell him?
I told him, thank you very much, Mr. President. I appreciate you, also appreciating the little we did as a result of what you did. You know, and that's why I love the statement where he said that A.A. Sule is doing well, Tinubu is, because Tinubu is also doing well. You know, so, and I think that was the biggest statement actually for the whole event. And if not for what he did or what he has been doing for us, we would not have been able to do what made him happy. You know, so we appreciated him, which was the main reason why we invited him anyway. We invited him so that he could come and see clearly the effort that he has put forward, the work that he has done, the release of the resources that he has done to some of the regions, especially Nasarawa, gave us the opportunity, you know, to be able to perform to the level that we did. And the only way that he could appreciate it more was if he's able to see it himself, rather than just somebody telling him stories about it.
How significant is the flyover? The question is, why do people need that kind of flyover? Is the traffic that necessary that will have prompted a flyover? Now you are now tagged it as the Bola Tinubu flyover.
Well, you know, we didn't just invite him to do the flyover. If you, maybe, I don't know, if you listen to the time that he was commissioning the flyover, I say you are commissioning a flyover today, Mr. President, but that's not even the reason why we invited you. We invited you mainly, one, to appreciate you for what we did at the flyover, but we are inviting you more because of our secretariat. You know, I came to a state where there was no secretariat. We invited him also.
For state government workers?
For state government workers.
Where do they work? Where were they working from?
You know, Nasarawa is a new state. It's one of the newest 6 states that the late General Abacha actually created in 1996. Exactly. So what happened was that when it was created as a new state coming out of Plateau, it came to Lafia, and Lafia also not being a very huge city. So some places actually they use other people's houses, you know, as they start up ministries. There was no government house, you know, until it also started and the rest of that. So we had lots of start-up, and some of those people that started in some of those places is only to renovate the same houses or so. And I will tell you a joke, actually. When I became the governor, I asked one of the commissioners, by the way, I don't know where your ministry is. And I'm not joking about it. He said, okay, sir, if you go there, you see the mechanic village? I say, yes. Make a right at that mechanic village, and that's where you will see by the left, that's the ministry. And I'm serious about that. You know, so, and that's the kind of thing I inherited. But you know, with all sense of humility, I'm well exposed. I have worked in the US and so many other places, and I've seen a lot of cities also here in Nigeria, and I've seen state capital. So I thought the best I could do will be to create something similar to that. When I actually came, even the federal secretariat was not there. So thanks to Governor Fashola, you know, when he was the minister, we worked very hard until he was able to complete that. So now we have the state secretariat and we have the federal secretariat all in town.
So your plan is to ensure that Lafia looks like a state capital that it should be?
Lafia is a state capital now.
No, I mean, I'm talking about physically. No, literally, it is a state capital as captured by law. But the fact remains that in terms of the physical infrastructure and what it should be.
That's correct. Yeah. No, I know that. I was pulling your leg. That's exactly right. You know, so, and I think I made that statement a couple of times that Lafia should look more like, you know, instead of looking like a glorified local government headquarters, it should stay like a state capital. Yes, I made that comment.
What more do you think will make Lafia look like to make it look like Ikeja, for example?
Well, I don't know about Ikeja, and there is no comparison actually with Ikeja. There are so many
because
things
Ikeja is because I'm going to drag you I saw an opinion piece. I read it on the cable earlier today.
Okay.
Where the former IG, I didn't even know he was from. He's from Nasarawa State. Muhammad Adamu, the former IG, was writing about industrialization in Nasarawa State and how Nasarawa State is fast becoming the next China, in quote, meaning that there is industrialization coming. And there are a lot of things that he said that I don't even know about. And I'm imagining that if a former IG, Adamu, for example, is identifying some of these issues about Nasarawa and fast becoming a place where any investor should look towards. And the president mentioned that, yes, you have the natural resources. Chinese companies are coming for lithium. You saw what Mr. Alake said about Nasarawa.
Exactly.
That's what I'm asking. Look, Ikeja is the capital of Lagos. So, interestingly, if you want Lafayette to become the kind of state capital you want it to be, what more do you think?
Well, one, we need more hotels. Right now, we're building one under a PPP arrangement. Two, we need
like a 5-star kind of thing.
Yeah, 5-star kind of thing.
Or you even start from a 3.
And we are doing it. No, 5-star actually. Okay. And we are going into a relationship with Marriott, for that. So Nasarawa State provided all the infrastructure. A developer came, he's building it, and then Marriott is taking it for franchise. So we are going into that because we have a lot of these investors from China, from Germany, and now even from Angola. As I'm talking to you now, we have people from Nasarawa State that are traveling, on the invitation of the Angolan government, because one of the biggest investors in Angola has built the biggest fertilizer plant, in Tanzania, and they are going to commission it on Saturday. So they wanted Nasarawa to be there because his next project is actually a fertilizer plant in Nasarawa State. So it is not just the Chinese. The Chinese have so much interest in developing minerals, and that's why the Honorable Minister Alake mentioned that so far over $800 million, has gone into interest in Nasarawa State, and he just obtained, for rare metals, another 400 million that is going into Nasarawa. So that's already 1.2 billion. So all that is the industrialization. But by the time all these come up, you are going to be looking at more jobs for the people, more participation for the people, bigger middle class in Nasarawa State, more educated people, and then the place they can go for recreation, and then they can pay their taxes, and then they can pay that. And then we're going to be talking about Ikeja. But right now, I think we are good enough, to be one of the best, at least among the 6 states that were created. And then we can go and start competing with some of the states that were there.
The president advised, he said, don't look away from agriculture.
Correct.
Because again, this is the 3rd time the president said he wants to make agriculture sexy again.
Correct.
Are you thinking of making agriculture sexy in Nasarawa?
It's because of the video he saw.
I saw the rice.
Yes.
A year ago.
Yes.
You started planting rice.
Yes, we are planting.
Now you have harvested.
Right now we have harvested that, and right now we are planting for the next season.
Is there a rice mill in Nasarawa?
There is one owned by Olam. The biggest rice mill owned by Olam is in Nasarawa State. So 90% of the rice we harvested were actually milled at the
Olam's farm.
Yes. So, there is no need reinventing the wheel. I didn't want Nasarawa to go and start investing into a mill, which is the easier part. The more difficult part is actually to go to farm the rice. If we farm the rice, we have our paddy. We have so many buyers that are going to buy, and that's what we did. So we sold 90% to them, and then we gave part of the seedlings to every local government. And so far, I'm happy with what I'm seeing in every local government that is doing. We are replanting part of that seedlings into our expanded farm. We are going from 2,000 now, we are going to 3,000, this year. I believe in taking it one step at a time, not to go bam, one where you are not going to.
I know mathematics was one of your majors, so let's do the math. If you say that you are industrializing, and we're saying it, with the lithium, with the other resources, with the farming and all of that, what is the progression? How have you grown the economy in terms of numbers? What is the internally generated revenue saying? What is the GDP saying? What is the unemployment rate saying? How have you reduced or increased all of these figures? Okay. Can you prove that you have really done the work?
No, of course we have.
Because these figures will tell us.
Yes, of course we have done the work. Let me start with the IGR. When we came in 2019, the 2019 was the highest since the creation of the state, because we came in for 7 months and 5 months were already gone by the previous administration. And so at the end of the year, we had 7-point-something billion. That's all.
For IGR?
For IGR. By last year now, 2024, we have about 30 billion, for IGR. So we actually wanted to grow roughly about 5 times, to go 35 billion. But we only had roughly about 30 billion. And we are growing this year, especially with the new factories that are coming in mining and the rest and that. Now, unemployment, that's the more interesting one that you always mention. While we continue to create more employment opportunities, while we continue to give skill acquisition and create entrepreneurs so that they can become employers themselves, while we continue to reduce that, what is happening is that because Nasarawa is now more like your Ogun to Lagos, a lot of people who are looking at Abuja for attraction come to live in Nasarawa. So sometimes some of them come with their own families. That's why Karu local government that has the border is the fastest growing local government in entire Nigeria. Okay, so we have not been able to see significant improvement on our unemployment when we check 2024 with all this effort we have done, because more people who are unemployed, who are looking for employment, move into our state. So I think that's part of
So you have more satellite towns.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have more people moving in, and the moment we grow, they dwarf our growth because we go to check.
Because most of the workers in Abuja, most of the domestic and low income earning workers in Abuja, they live in part of Nasarawa state because they cannot afford housing.
That's correct.
But are you cashing in on that? Because Ogun State did under Amosun. Amosun went on a campaign to say, you live in Ogun State and work in Lagos, you pay tax in Ogun State. You need to be able to take advantage of that. Are you doing that?
Well, we are. It's part of the reason for our growth of this TAD. We follow up with the FCT, and I want to thank the FCT also for that. We follow up with them through our consultants also, and from time to time, we are able to get it back, from the FCT. And that has helped, significantly. So what we were getting in payee, for instance, has actually gone 3 times, So in fact, the fastest area of the growth of our IGR is in the payee. And that is the reason why we have been able to get part of our pay through that. So, but sometimes it's very difficult to catch them on that. You have mentioned about our GDP. Our GDP actually doubled, but that one is very difficult to give credit to us because it's the country, based on the economy of the country, based on the GDP of Nigeria as it's growing, it's actually spread. And Nasarawa, with due respect, among some of the northern states, is becoming more an elite state, especially because of Abuja. So that's the reason why you are beginning to see some of those numbers.
However, there is a concern. I had a guest yesterday that says there are a lot of criminals who are being harbored in your state. And most of those who were said to have committed a havoc on your water in Benue State, where they came from Nasarawa, or they stayed in Nasarawa. After the attack, they went back to Nasarawa before. Are you worried about this? Were you aware? Because we understand that there was a security report that this attack was going to happen. And this is not the first time. Even in past administration in Benue State, Nasarawa has always been, allegedly, the harboring, the haven for these attackers.
You see, the problem comes with the terminology of harboring, haven, and things like that, because there is nothing like that. Unfortunately, in 2019, that's what I inherited. I inherited a situation where my predecessor and Governor Otom were not in good talking terms because of some of these accusations. And I went to Governor Otom and said, Governor Otom, what is really happening between you and my predecessor? He said, no, it's because of this. And I said, okay, come, sir. I'm willing to sit down with you to find the solutions. And what you said yesterday about your guest of yesterday is the most unfortunate thing, because some of these people are leaders. Leaders are supposed to be careful. Let me go, starting with the security report you have mentioned. You know who sent the report to me? The governor of Benue himself. He sent to me that, and that is exactly what the report said, that they realized there were some people wanting to attack Benue and they are coming from Plateau, coming from Taraba, and they were going to gather in Nasarawa. It's just like saying somebody going to Lagos, and then you say, he went through Ogun. Where else will he go through? It has to be the Ogun. Okay? So I said, sir, let me get back to that. And I sent this report immediately to all our security agencies. Our military, we have the special forces, our air force,
so
our
police. So you escalated it immediately?
Immediately to all those people.
This was before the Yelwata attack?
Before the Yelwata attack. To be fair to the governor, he sent it to me.
So we were forewarned.
And I asked him, I say, who sent it to you? He said, his intelligence people. I say, so what are you doing about it? Because, you know, when you receive this kind of, what are you doing about it? He said this, I now called some of the people, without calling names, some of the big people here in Abuja. I said, this is what the report we received. This is what we are saying. This is that. He received the report, and we received it. Now, later on, with due respect to the governor again, he mentioned in one of his interviews that some of these people who were actually came from Cameroon. Coming from Cameroon, they will not come to Nasarawa, they will go through Taraba. You know. So now I saw a video after the attack. These people that we saw in the video, if indeed were the people who did the attack, you know, they didn't even speak any Fulfulde or any Fulanese that we see here. These are people that are definitely from different countries, you know, that we saw. And they don't have cows, they don't have this. And after the attack, the unfortunate thing that always happens is that there is going to be bombing of some of the Fulani settlements at the border. You know, so and when I speak with security agencies, they would say, oh, they are doing that because they believe those are the places that are harboring the criminals. But these people go to some of those places and even kill the Fulanis in that places and take their cows. You know, so I think rather than blaming certain people, we should sit down. I have had 4 different versions now of that. I even had a version where, with due respect, one of the traditional rulers there said that is the misunderstanding taking place between some of the sons of Benue that is making some of the sons of Benue sponsored some of these attacks so that the president could declare state of emergency. I had that distance said by some of them at the major events. In fact, the president was there when it was said. So how does Nasarawa come into that?
You can for sure say Nasarawa citizens are not culpable in all of this.
We don't. You see, in Nasarawa, we don't even have enough Fulanis that we can say that. We don't even. Nasarawa is not known. That's why anything that has to do with dairy, with cattle, with this, we don't do that because Nasarawa has enough problems of itself. So why will Nasarawa be interested in harboring anybody? We have enough trouble to manage. Just 2 days ago, I had to go to Profos, you know, a company actually that is doing a lot of very good work in Ogun State, you know, concerning that. And part of what we distributed yesterday, you know, were security vehicles, armored vehicles, electric vehicles, this and that, all for security. And all mainly because of the border, because in Nasarawa, we don't want any insecurity problem. We have a lot of investors all over the places. So we don't want anything that this. So why will Nasarawa be interested?
I mean, so
you know, in harboring anyone.
There's one thing. You could have 4 blocks of a flat.
Yeah.
You live in one and you rent 3 out.
Yes.
And you may not be so privy to the activities of your tenants.
No.
Could it be that you have people who are using Nasarawa as a cover?
No.
For evil?
They definitely not. You see, these people who carry out these attacks, they are not the kind of people who rent 3 houses or 1 house. These are people who come on motorcycles. And in most cases, some of these military, you know, intelligence also, they see them. They send the message. Okay, who is now attacking Plateau? Who attacks Zamfara? Who attacks Borno? Who attacks Katsina? Who attacks Sokoto? Is it Nasarawa? Is it because they are living in Nasarawa or they are living? You know, so I think this is where leadership is lacking. The moment you have a problem, leaders should come together. And I keep saying this to everybody because that's what we do in Nasarawa. The moment there is a problem, I don't care whether you come to our party or not. Whether you belong to APC or NABGA or whatever party, come. Let us solve the problem together. That's what we need to do also in Benue.
And look, one thing in all of this is also the fact that the president, when he was in Lafayette yesterday, he said something. He said, Those who are in the coalition and in the opposition, they are IDPs. But you're a very smart politician, although you are not an original politician.
No, I'm not.
But now you are in politics.
But I'm not original.
But these IDPs that you're talking about, there are those who know now who say, look, APC will be shocked. They won't know what hits them in 2027.
In which state?
No, at the national, you're a national leader of the party.
Okay. You see, if you are making those kind of categorical statements, you have to make a reference.
I'm referencing. Yeah. I'm referencing. I mean, you were hit. You lost 2 senatorial districts to SDP.
No. We lost 3.
Yeah. So
we lost 3.
And you didn't know that was going to hit you.
No. We
never saw that.
No. We knew it was going to hit us. It's the same people in APC that were angered by some of the people within APC that got upset, came to me and say, sir, we are the right candidates, we are the best candidates, but some people are trying to frustrate us. Sir, we are going to... Do you know what happened? Both of them went to another party, the SDP. Throughout their campaigns, they campaigned for themselves and they campaigned for Asuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Sule. None of them campaigned for any SDP outside their own positions. So our own was an internal problem, which by the grace of God has been neutralized now.
You have an internal problem also in the APC at the national level.
Which level?
At the national level.
Where?
You saw what happened in Gombe, where they almost break some of your leaders' head. Now the question is that this coalition that the president is dismissing.
Yes.
Are you worried?
You want him to encourage the coalition?
It's good for opposition.
No, it's not good for opposition. A good party, you know, you want to be as dominant as possible, and that's what every party wants to do. So he will be the last to encourage any coalition, and that's exactly. So he's doing the right thing. He's doing what the original politician should do, and that's what he's doing. You know, so I don't think it is a problem of that. And if you look at it, you know, that's why when they said somebody should be scared of the opposition, did you see the way this man was received yesterday in Lafia? These people were not mobilized by the government. These people mobilized themselves because they are beginning to see what is really going on and what is returning to them. It's not government that mobilized them.
All right.
You know.
Governor Abdullah, it's always a pleasure having you on the program. I wish we have more time. But thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much.
And congratulations on some of these projects.
No,
but you need to do more.
No, we are
you have more. Less than 2 years to go.
No, well, okay, it's less, right?
It's less.
Okay,
it's less.
All right. I thought it's about 2 years. So
I wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.